We've got a very cool and interesting update to take a look at here today involving New York Rangers very tall forward Matt Rempe, who stands at a staggering 6'7", 241 pounds. He's an absolute monster out there on the ice, and he has a very kind of interesting training update to take a look at here today involving some other news as well. But we're also going to take a look at a possible pretty great target for the New York Rangers in free agency. There's obviously not a ton of great players left in free agency. A lot of them have already signed, but there are still a couple very solid players out there who could be a nice addition for this New York Rangers team. And I have one left-handed defenseman who could be a great fit on that third D pair to take a look at here today, who's a veteran guy, an American player, and who could come on a fairly cheap contract on a one-year deal, who could provide some great kind of veteran leadership, a kind of really experienced guy, but also just be a very solid defensive defenseman for this team. So starting off here, taking a look at the Matt Rempe kind of news and update. He is currently training this offseason with one of the better kind of all-time NHL great fighters, Georges Laraque. He's a very, very good fighter back in his day, and he is currently training Matt Rempe and one of his former Seattle Thunderbirds teammates as well right now to kind of help them become better fighters. His teammate there, Tyrel Bauer, from the Seattle Thunderbirds back when they played in the WHL together in junior days. So that's pretty cool. There he's with one of his former teammates. They're practicing, they're fighting there, and getting trained by one of the best fighters of all time in the NHL, Georges Laraque. He's a very, very talented fighter there, and obviously he's a guy who's training Matt Rempe here. So that's going to be a good thing for Rempe, I think. Getting taught from one of the all-time greats there is definitely going to be a good thing for him. He's going to need to kind of work on his kind of blocking bit there, dodging some punches, stuff like that. I definitely ate quite a few kind of big punches there throughout this season, and that's definitely not good for his kind of long-term health and just overall ability to keep playing. So hopefully he can kind of get some fighting tips there and become a better fighter, where he already is a pretty solid fighter there. He's also got that reach on pretty much every guy out there on the ice. He's got the weight and the height on most guys, so being able to become a better fighter and a more kind of tactical guy definitely could be a very important thing for his long-term health and also his long-term kind of longevity in the NHL as well. And Georges also had 131 career fights in the NHL. A very tough guy out there, and definitely one of the most feared players on the ice back in his day as well. We're taking a look here at the post on X here, where Georges kind of talks about him training Tyrel and Matt. He says here, "I'm training Matt Rempe and Tyrel Bauer for hockey fighting this week in Edmonton at the Silent Ice Arena. If you thought Rempe was a problem this year in the NHL, wait till you see him this coming season." And that is great to hear. Rempe definitely was a problem out there on the ice for some players. His physicality and his fighting ability is definitely something that not a lot of players have, while also having that great size. So being trained from one of the all-time great fighters in Georges is definitely a good thing for this Rangers team and Matt Rempe. Rempe's only going to get better at fighting. Hopefully, like I said, he can get better tactically, which I'm sure he's working on quite a bit there to maybe not have to eat as many punches there and just kind of be able to win more fights and not take as many punches there, so he can kind of fight maybe a little more, but obviously not going to hurt his kind of long-term health there, and obviously have concussion and kind of head trauma issues, whatever it is. You don't want to see him kind of have some of those things there, so hopefully he can be a safe and good fighter for this Rangers team, and obviously still bring some all-around kind of decent play as well, because there definitely are some other things he has to work on as well, not just on the fighting side of things there. Obviously he is kind of two-way game defensively, needs to get a bit better there. His passing, stick handling, kind of playmaking ability there definitely could use some work, and just kind of all-around game definitely needs to kind of take a bit of a step up to truly make a good impact at the NHL level, aside from the physicality and fighting side of things there. So hopefully he can work on that stuff as well and kind of get better on that side of things. Not only the fighting there, which is a good thing. I mean, him getting a better fighter, taking less hits, punches, and stuff like that is definitely a good thing, but also becoming a better kind of all-around player would definitely be a big help for this Rangers team. And before we move on here and take a look at the free agent target for the Rangers, let's take a look here at Matt Rempe's stats from this past season. He ended up having, in the regular season there, 17 games played, 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points there, 71 penalty minutes, had a game-winning goal, 12 shots on net there, had 5 minutes and 38 seconds per net on average, so not a ton of ice time there. Went 4 for 8 on the faceoff, so not too bad. Had 5 blocks, 50 hits, which is definitely a very nice thing to see. So all around, played pretty good for the kind of role he needs to bring, but definitely needs to kind of work on his all-around game. Get better defensively, get better passing skills, stick handling wise, skating ability. Definitely needs to have a decent amount of work there, but if he can do some of that stuff, he definitely could be a very impactful kind of fourth liner for the foreseeable future, especially with his physicality and hitting side of things there. If he can work on his all-around game, that would definitely be a huge help for this Rangers team. But taking a look now at the playoff stats, he ended up having a total of 11 games played, scored 1 goal there, had 1 point, obviously, 10 penalty minutes, averaging 6 minutes and 7 seconds per night. And also in the faceoffs there, ended up going 4 for 6, also had 4 block shots and 38 total hits. So all around, pretty good season there from Matt Rempe. And now taking a look here at the possible free agent target for the New York Rangers, and one of the better left-handed defensemen left in free agency, and that player is Ryan Suter. This is a player who just recently got bought out for the second time of his career. Obviously, the first buyout was with the Minnesota Wild after that huge contract that him and Zach Parise each had. But now he got bought out once again, this time by the Dallas Stars. So I think it's possible that he could honestly sign with the Rangers on a very cheap 1-year deal, possibly. I don't think it'd be anything too crazy there. Probably a 1-year deal at a fairly low capital, though we do have a decent amount of cap space available right now. We could go after a guy like this who is a good, veteran guy who could be a nice player to kind of compete alongside Zach Jones for that third deep pair spot on the left side, possibly playing alongside a guy like Jacob Trouba or Braden Schneider. But either way, I think this could be a nice addition for this Rangers team. He's a veteran guy, been in the league for a very long time. He is getting up there in age. He is 39 years old, turning 40 in January, but he still ended up playing a big role on the Dallas Stars this past playoff run. So he's definitely a guy who can still play quite a bit of minutes there, eat up a decent amount of ice time there. Still a guy who is NHL caliber for sure, although he is getting up there in age. He's still got, I would say, a year or two left at least before he's probably going to end up retiring. He could do so this offseason. Is definitely still a possibility, but if he's looking to come back to the NHL, which I'm probably guessing he is, he's also a guy kind of trying to chase a cup there, so maybe he wants to come to the Rangers there, try and win a cup with this Rangers team. He definitely could be a nice add for this squad to kind of help replace the loss of Eric Gustafsson, who I think, Suter would be a good kind of just replacement for a guy like Gus there, who they kind of have different play styles, that's for sure. But at this point in his career, I still think Suter is probably a better kind of all-around defenseman than a guy like Eric Gustafsson there. Definitely a more kind of defensively sound guy. Good defensive defenseman in his day, was definitely a good kind of two-way guy. At this point, though, more of just a defensive guy, not putting up as many points as he used to, but can put up a little bit of points there, be a good puck-moving kind of guy there, 6'1", decent size, plays a physical game, can block some shots, just play a good defensive game, be a sound, reliable defensive defenseman for this Rangers team, help move the puck around there, and also could be a good kind of competition leader for guys, like Braden Schneider, Zach Jones on the back end there, some of the young guys, Keandre Miller as well, kind of help be a leader for those guys, and also just be a solid vet to have in the locker room in general. And he's still a guy who can also help out on the penalty kill as well. Taking a look at the stats, though, this past season ended up having 82 games played for the third season in a row as well, which is very nice to see. For an older guy, he's still playing every single game and is still eating up a ton of ice time, as he ended up having, in those 82 games played, 18 minutes and 56 seconds per night on average, so still eating up a lot of ice time there. Had 2 goals, 15 assists, 17 points, not too bad, plus 14, 86 hits and 111 block shots, so not too bad there. He's still a guy who can block a lot of shots, hit a decent amount, eat up a lot of ice time, be a good all-around player, good puck mover. Definitely not putting up, the points they used to, but still a decent offensive guy as well. The previous season with Dallas Stars also ended up having 82 games played, 3 goals, 22 assists, 25 points, had 26 penalty minutes there, averaged 20 minutes and 23 seconds per night. 115 block shots, 81 hits, not too bad there at all. Still put up some great numbers offensively, and 25 points there is not terrible for a defenseman who is a good defensive guy, help on the PK, block a lot of shots, hit a decent amount there. Definitely would be a very nice add in my opinion. I think could be a great fit on this team. And now taking a look though at his playoff stats, he ended up playing 19 games for the second consecutive season with the Dallas Stars in the playoffs there, but this past season ended up having 1 goal, 3 assists, 4 points, averaged 17 minutes and 50 seconds per night. Not too bad. And also had 19 hits and 19 block shots in 19 games. Not too bad. In the previous season, ended up having, like I said, 19 games, 6 points there, 6 assists. Not too bad. Averaged 23 minutes and 21 seconds per night. So even as a 38-year-old, ate up a ton of ice time, playing like a top pairing kind of guy, ice time-wise, and also had 30 block shots and 31 hits. This is a very talented player still, although he is, almost 40 years old. He's still a good defensive defenseman, can move the puck, hit block shots, do all that good stuff, help in the PK, be a good leader, a good veteran guy, has a ton of playoff experience, 133 games played, 44 points in the playoffs, not too bad there at all, and also average 25 minutes and 6 seconds per night in the playoffs in those 133 games played on average. Not too bad at all there. Would be a great add for this team. It would be more like kind of one-year deal at very cheap money. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, definitely hit that like and subscribe button for more daily New York Rangers content. If you're a Rangers fan, there's no better place to be on YouTube than this channel, so definitely hit that like and subscribe button if you like New York Rangers content. If you're a Rangers fan, this is the place to be. And also, don't forget to comment down below your thoughts on Matt Rempe training with Georges Laraque, one of the better kind of fighters in the NHL's history, as well as what are your thoughts on Ryan Suter possibly being a nice free agent signing for the Rangers. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next one. See ya.